This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the Boss Rush family of podcasts, head to bossrush.net or our Patreon at patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Okay, so I got.
No. Redo it.
What's popping?
Redo it.
Why? I said what's popping.
You're redeemed.
Questionable.
But also, I'm like, man, Daddy Jim is leaving.
Yep. Daddy Jim is leaving the PlayStation.
No more Daddy Jim and Uncle Phil are fighting. What are we gonna do?
No more awkward controller holding.
Get Kevin back.
What?
Kevin Butler.
Give us Kevin Butler.
Oh my God, not him.
We need a charismatic leader for PlayStation.
Wait. Do we want Kevin Butler? Do we want Kevin Butler? Do we want Jack Tretton? Or who's the other one?
We want Kevin Butler.
What's his name? Kasserai?
No. I'm just talking about the white dudes that had it.
Racist.
You know what? How about that one girl?
Those are the ones everybody made fun of. I'm not being racist. Those are the ones. Notice every non-melanated like person that ran some part of Sony has been just dogged on in social media.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Also joining us is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Speaking of daddies, I found a video game that was like that I don't know how they put my life in a video game. Hi guys.
Well, some people are into smelling things.
This is an after dark recording night, so it might as well just spill over.
Speaking of smelling things, also joining us is PK Power Pat Klein.
The fuck was that?
I don't know.
Smells great.
Yeah, sure.
I guess. I don't know. I probably don't smell great right now. Honestly, I've been sick for like the last 2 days.
Oh no.
You're fine. Suck it up. Just kidding. How's everyone doing? Good? Wonderful? Great?
It's good only because of this podcast. Man, it's been a long week.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
It's only Wednesday, guys.
Wow.
What wow.
The Wednesday is Wednesdaying, huh?
Yeah, it is Wednesdaying. Thank goodness I have this podcast to look forward to.
I'm glad you look forward to seeing us every Wednesday.
I slept for 6 hours today.
Brag about it. No kid owner.
Is it COVID or is it just random sickness?
I think it was food poisoning, to be honest. Because like 2 days ago, my stomach was just like in humongous pain. And then yesterday was spending a lot of time on the pooper. And today I'm just really fucking tired.
Oh, your body's like, I need to recoup.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, sorry, man.
It's like, you know what? I'm not going to work. I'm sleeping today.
I'm sleeping today. Oh man, sounds nice. Sounds wonderful. I wish I would be smart enough to go to bed earlier, but I've been staying up late to play video games, so
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah, brag about it.
I did totally bragging about it.
No, I'm happy for you. That's the whole point. Play video games.
Yeah, I played a lot of games this week. Let's jump into some video games. LeRon, I see you're still playing the same stuff.
So I yield my time.
You yield your time.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. Some developments are happening in Dead Space Remake. I found the third of the four unitology statues or marker statues, which means I am one step away from getting that alternate ending.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be creepy just because I just know how Dead Space 2 turns out.
Yeah. Well, Maybe there'll be a different Dead Space 2 now. You never know.
They're gonna. My predictions are they're gonna basically like it's gonna be 90% faithful to the original material. There's gonna be new stuff, just like how they did with Dead Space remake and stuff like that. And we'll see in what context the diverges from like the story path for Dead Space 3, because I'm still thinking that they're gonna do what like what Fox is doing with the Alien franchise. The first two movies are the only ones that matter, and everything else is out the door. That's what I'm thinking. Even though I love Dead Space 3 as a fan and enthusiast of the series, because Dead Space 3 gave us the most lore of what's going on in that universe. It wasn't just about how cracked out people's minds get once they get in contact with the marker. It was about what the hell is really going on in the universe, and why is the universe trying to kill us.
I really wish they would have let you choose the character though in Dead Space 3.
Between Carver and Isaac?
Yeah, because I played it with a friend, and I let my friend play Carver, and he got more of the fun experience because Isaac's a pro. He's gone through it, so there's nothing really traumatic and spooking him.
Oh yeah, it was.
Carver was like, "What the fuck's going on?" Everything's
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Dead Space co-op with a friend of mine who'd never played Dead Space before, but he'd watched me play Dead Space 1 and 2, so he played as Carver, and he was like, "Man, this dude is wigging the fuck out," and I was like, "Yeah, man, welcome to the life." Yeah, there's literally parts of the game. There's literally parts of the game where there's 3 mandatory co-op missions, and they're mandatory co-op missions, even though they're optional. You don't have to play those missions, but if you want some beast ass weapons and equipment and stuff like that, you should play those co-op missions. But the co-op missions basically you'll literally be playing as Isaac Clarke, and you will see on the screen the guy that's playing Carver just shooting everything. It's like, dude, why are you wasting ammo and stuff like that? When you play his perspective though, he's being attacked by every fucking thing.
Yeah, my friend who wasn't very good at playing the game, he died a lot of times, and all I could do was just sit there and stare.
So I look at this bag.
He's like, "Can't you help me?" I'm like, "Nope, I can't see a damn thing that's going on yours."
There's one though. The only thing you see while Carver's doing all this stuff, all of a sudden these toy soldiers just start shifting positions, and that's because he's moving that stuff around.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I really enjoyed Dead Space 3. I honestly enjoyed Dead Space 3. The people who complained about it, y'all buttholes are too tight or something, man. Because
they reused assets. That was my biggest complaint, is the fact that every corridor looked the same.
That is true.
Same.
That is true. But then again, those ships are 200 years old. and if we remember the lore correctly, those people that formed SCAF, basically they were trying to get the fuck up out of Dodge because EarthGov was about to run them the fuck down. See, trust me, this guy knows. This guy knows. I could write Dead Space books, especially since Glenn Schofield doesn't have anything to do with Callisto Protocol nor Dead Space now. I can do that. I can be that guy.
Man, you should call it Dead Protocol.
Damn, we need Matt on the show. Me and Matt would have a good time talking about this tonight.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Matt, you're not here.
I miss you, brother.
Is that all you want to say, LeRon?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. Yeah, you guys, I'm playing Spider-Man. I'm playing Dead Space. I'm still playing on Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars has gotten a little slow for me, but that's just because I'm really trying to beat Spider-Man. We got a deadline coming up for Spider-Man 2, and I need to figure out am I pre-ordering it or what. I've already made the decision that I'm going to go ahead and get the PS5 copy. Which even though I know the PC copy will be out maybe 6 to 8 months after.
Well, maybe that thought will change with the new CEO with Daddy Jim leaving. Maybe it'll start coming out day and date or something.
Hiroki Totoki is making those decisions. Not Jim was never making decisions like that.
Jim is the decision maker.
Yeah.
Speaking of decisions, I'm deciding Stephanie's going to go next.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't really have an impressive library of games that I've played compared to actually both you, Pat, and Corey. So I beat Alan Wake finally.
Yay.
I definitely got into it in the later chapters. Like the first chapter, I think I personally struggled through it. Half my fault because I'm just so used to the ever improving controls. So, some of the controls of Alan Wake made me, the spoiled gamer, get frustrated. But I just generally got over it, or at least took it with a grain of salt. And obviously, it got more interesting. So I really liked it. Glad I beat it in time for when Alan Wake 2 comes out. I'm very much looking forward to it. As a writer myself, I appreciate this story. So that's Alan Wake. I'm very proud of that. Also, I'm working my way through A Space for the Unbound, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that I can pet and name all the kitty cats that I run into.
Mm-hmm.
So really great, graphics and just like all the small little things you can do in there. Like I'm still early in the game. I went on like a date with my girlfriend, and you're in the movies, and you just need to like press a button to grab popcorn. And depending when you grab popcorn, your hand might touch hers. It was just like cute,
Yep.
small little things.
They both get embarrassed and.
Corey, is this our life now? We're just gonna be in the middle of a cat love fest.
Mm-hmm. Anytime, every game from here on out is going to have some sort of cat in it, and we're going to have to sit here and listen to it.
Hey, listen, it's not my fault that cats make great video game companions, okay? Did I make Space for the Unbound? No. Did I make Stray? No. Did I make all the other video games that have cats in them? No.
I'm very anti-cat now.
See, maybe in the video game space they're like the best thing ever, but like in the movie space, like cats get motherfuckers killed. Like let's talk about the first Alien movie.
Oh no.
No, let's talk about how my cat in real life is awesome. No, not the one that pees on the floor everywhere. She can go.
Oh, I was just about to call that one out.
She's from Russia. She don't count. She's a communist.
Whoa.
Paxel saved my life from a dog.
We're about to get struck on the Boss Rush YouTube channel. We're about
no. My son is
like, wait a damn minute.
My son is half Russian, and I love him very much. No, this I have two cats, and they're polar opposites. One's a jerk, and one's like a complete angel. But anyway, we're not here to talk about my cats. Oh, Space for the Unbound. And then last but not least, tonight I booted up Pub Encounter, which was a game that I bought just because it was on sale one day in the eShop. It's like one of those like dirty games, but it was different. Like usually it's like a bunch of girls in string bikinis, like succubus this or blah blah blah. This game is about you getting it on with older men. So it's like the complete opposite. So it's literally you go to this pub and there's like 6 different middle-aged men you can go try and hook up with. And I'm like, look, that's my life. I don't go to the pub to pick up middle-aged men. That's an exaggeration, but it's your typical like anime romance. So like a lot of the lines in there are so cheesy. I laugh out loud, and my son's asking me what's so funny, and I can't tell him because it's not appropriate.
You could. How old is he? He's old enough, right?
Yes, they're just another world.
Yeah.
Like the first guy I'm pursuing is the CEO of a lingerie company, and he's super shy and he's uptight and he hates women, and so I'm like, I'm gonna make you love me. And so
wow,
it's
Women's prerogative to change the man.
I can't. Like it's so cringy, but I can't stop playing it.
Oh boy.
Pub Encounter.
Sounds neat.
I wonder if it's like it's got a good how do I no, I'll probably look that up just for the sake of it. Maybe not right now, but I'm going to want to eventually pull up the description of the game to see if it's entertaining to read, but I don't know how to do that from here. So it's all I've been playing.
Cool. That screenshot you sent us from that game was like, oh my god.
That's the kind of stuff. All right, audience, if you really want to know, let's see.
Dirty.
Yeah. And it was early on in the game, and one guy goes, "Let's switch spots. Surely you don't want to let only me smell Steph's sweet scent."
Jeez.
That means you need to bathe.
Only in these kind of games.
Jeez.
You know, that guy has like, this look like of disgust too.
It's weird, right? Because when you look at like horny anime games, they're usually like of young, really good-looking men or women, right? This is a game about middle-aged men. They have like 1,000 wrinkles around their eyes, but everything else about them is your typical anime style hot dude. So it's weird. It's just a typical hot anime dude, but with 1,000 wrinkles.
You know what they say? Every wrinkle gives you another minute.
Do they?
You lose a minute, or you have another
You
minute.
gain a minute.
Okay. Oh, but I don't know. This is a challenge. I've already made out with this guy, and he only likes me 19%. I'm just checking my stats. Likability 19%. No, I expect at least 50%.
So I don't know. That kind of sounds like real life right there.
Maybe. All right.
All right, Pat, you're up.
All right. So I finished another game this week. I put in a lot of long hours on this one. Beat in about 65 hours. It is game 33 of 40, The Legend of Hero Trails to Azure.
Wait, when did that game come out?
Hours?
A long time ago, but in America it came out in March.
A long time ago.
Wait, didn't they just announce? Wait, I thought that game just got announced.
Trails of Reverie, I think, was the one everybody was talking about over the summer.
Well, and they just announced a game called Trails Through Daybreak.
That's it. Okay. I was about to say, what in the cheat codes is happening here?
Yep. So let me educate you guys a little bit on the Trails series. The Trails series started way back on the PC before the consoles maybe started existing. I don't know. They were just called The Legend of Heroes. But then when the PSP came around, a series was created called The Trails, or the Kiseki series in Japan. And this director has the inspiration of making 20 games with a continuous storyline.
Oh, shit.
Characters that just come back, and like a game can take place in like a part of the land for a couple games, and then it moves on to another part of this continent and focuses on the things that are going on there. But the stories are all continuous. They all are tying together. So this is one of those series that it is really hard to jump into one unless you play it in a specific order, because the events are very tied together. With that said, though, Trails to Azure is game number 5 of the series. Currently in America, the series goes up to 10. Number 11 was just announced. After Trails of Azure comes the more well-known Trails of Cold Steel, and that's a 4-game set that takes place in a different country just to the east of where Azure takes place. But this game series, like, I absolutely love just the ambition that this has. Like, putting these series together, you get the characters grow on you over time. The cities almost become characters themselves. Like, the city that Azure takes place in is probably one of the most major cities on this continent, and one where like one of the most conflicts takes place, because it's like smack dab in the center between two feuding nations. So there was a lot of action going on. The story takes place immediately after Trails from Zero, which is the 4th game, and the city itself has just like uprooted a whole bunch of corruption, from like corrupted Diet members to the underground mafia, and so it's trying to stand out and be like, we want to be our own state. And the rest of the nation's like, no, you're not going to be your own state. You're going to do what we tell you to do, and you're going to pay taxes on it. So this game particularly focuses on Crossbelt wanting to declare its own independence and the consequences that come about it. And I really enjoyed it. Like, in terms of most of the games I played, this one had a lot more action and a lot more stake involved than some of the other ones I played. Other ones, you may be playing in a military school, and you don't feel like you don't understand what's going on until almost the very end of the game, where the world goes into like this whole civil war. But it is a turn-based RPG, very classic in its turn-based. You have your attacks, your magic, you move around. Can try to break enemies if you want to, or take advantage of like turns to just kind of brutalize them, but they can kind of do so also. So there's a little bit of strategy, multiple difficulties, so anyone can jump in and play this. And a lot of side quests I feel like really help with the world building. But the Trails series is absolutely amazing. If you do ever want to get into it, I highly recommend starting with Trails from Zero, which is game 4, or if you want something a little more modern, Trails of Cold Steel, number 1.
Forgive me for my extremely ignorant question. Is the one that you just beat, is that the one where they're releasing that DLC years?
No, you're thinking of Tales.
Tales, not Trails. I see. I know I was going to sound like a dummy. I'm sorry.
No. Before, like this, I think one of the draws to the Trails series is that it reminded me a lot of the Tales series. But the Tales series hasn't been releasing as regularly as they used to back in the day. So
we used to get a new Tales game like every 9 months.
I gotta say though, Arise is the shit.
Yeah, Arise is awesome.
Arise is amazing. My only complaint with Arise was the third half, or the third portion of the game was very text heavy. Like it was a lot of exposition, re-exposition of the exposition. Walk over here.
That's your typical JRPG.
I know, but it's just like the first part of the game was excellent with its balance, but then the last part is like, we have too much story we have to fit in, and we have to get it done right now.
Remember,
sounds like you didn't like it, Pat.
Remember
I love the game
when it went to hurry up mode on the second disc.
That's yep, good old Xenogears. That's kind of what
one of my favorite RPGs, by the way.
Yeah, Xenogears was great, but it does fall into the pacing issue. So, but Tales of Arise is great. It's not my favorite Tales, but it's definitely one of the better ones. Anyways, that was Legend of Heroes. The next game I have is the DLC to Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty.
I can't wait to hear about this.
All right, so I guess first I need to talk about the 2.0 patch. This game, if you haven't played this game in like the last 6 months, this game's completely like revamped. The map is a lot better. You can set what you want to pop up on the map, so it doesn't like completely carry you away. The vehicle combat is well balanced. It's simple enough where like you push a button, you go into combat mode, and then one button can automatically just shoot your weapon. However, it's shooting just kind of randomly at the vehicle, where you can hold down another button and then direct and like manually aim and then shoot that way too. That way you can, aim for like the driver or another guy that's shooting you. So those parts, like it was implemented nicely. They also revamped the skill tree. And by revamping it, they basically refunded every single one of your skill points. So now you have to rebuild your character again if you've been playing, or if you're playing from a game that you had. In a sense, it kind of makes it a little easier with choosing skills, but it's still like it's still like just a just a map of like all sorts of skills that you have to read and kind of decide, do I want to put a point in this or not? And then you don't even understand if like what you're putting a point into is like really going to help you or not. You just kind of do it because, oh, look, this one's good for shotguns. That's what I'm using. Or this one's a blade. You know, that's kind of been my balance. I don't like the whole min-maxing part of games like this, but that's just me. I just kind of want to enjoy it for the story and the sights.
I remember this kind of getting really hyped up within the last year. Do you feel like it was worth the kind of the hype of it?
Oh yeah, with the whole Edge Runner Netflix show, that definitely really helped this game out. But this game is now what it should have been when it originally came out, and like the DLC itself is just like it opens up and it just runs. Like the action pieces are just like absolutely chaotic. The story just isn't letting up. The characters are like very, very intriguing. I finally ran into Idris Elba's character, and I don't know. There's something about that man that just like that turns me a little bi. He's beautiful. Even in the game, he's good. He's got that deep. I don't know what kind. It's like a British accent, but it's not. I don't know. He brings it with him in the game. Like I'm almost saying he's outshining Keanu Reeves' performance, but I always thought Keanu Reeves kind of pulled a little bit of a dull performance on this one.
I agree. I agree with that statement. And this is before even knowing about Idris Elba, in the game.
Yeah,
because I haven't gotten Phantom Liberty yet because I need to sit down and actually beat 2077.
Well, here's the thing: Phantom Liberty takes place during 2077, and in fact, by beating,
so you can actually run. Wait, because you're playing as your character V, right?
You're playing as your character's V. This takes place probably after like halfway through the game, but before you finish the game, because one of the things that you can get that can be unlocked in this game is after you beat Phantom Liberty, it unlocks another ending path to you for 2077, or like another like possible outcome, without going too much into spoiler territories. But the story of this DLC is that you get called by a mysterious netrunner saying that she's on board Space Force One, which is the new United States president, the NUS plane, and it's been hijacked and it's making a destination to a very enclosed section of Night City called Dogtown. This is a city that basically looks like an apocalypse hit Nighttown. Like the buildings are all in ruin. It's dusty, like trash is everywhere. But it's also run by a ex-militant group. So the law it's not quite as lawless as some of the other parts of town, but it's very dystopian. Like the section of town is almost is completely segmented off of everything else. It's enclosed. You have to have special permission to actually even get into Dogtown. And so you're guided into Dogtown through underground tunnels, and then you finally come up into the stadium part, and you overlook the sky where you see the President's plane incoming, and then you watch it crash into Night City, and that's when the title card comes up. And it's just like nonstop. Okay, you got to run. You got to go save the president from the militant group that is possibly the one that's setting this up. And the game just spirals down into this like massive like, okay, so what are the events that are happening here? Like, what caused the president's plane to go down? Like, who is actually responsible for it? It is a spy thriller. Your character becomes a spy for the U.S. government to help out rescue the president, and you have to awaken this sleeper spy that's actually in Dogtown, and that's Idris Elba's character, because he is like one of the best spies out there, but he's been dark for like 7 years because
Don't spoil it.
retired.
Spoilerize it.
I'm not spoiling that. I'm just saying that's the premise of the story is you have to find him and, reactivate him. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Dogtown is not particularly big, but it's packed with like
Nice.
vertical like integration, and there's a lot to do. And they also included like these Grand Theft Auto missions as well that you can find cars, jack them, and then turn them in for special rewards.
Nice.
Very much like Grand Theft Auto. That's another side.
The ray tracing in the game is off the chain.
Oh my gosh! Like just seeing the haze of the neon lights through mist or just puddles.
Seeing photorealistic reflections in like water and on glossy surfaces and stuff. Oh my god!
Yeah, this game is a very beautiful game. If you had any thoughts about trying to get into Cyberpunk but were scared off because the initial reviews were bad, it's not that game anymore. This game is what it should be now. And highly
Hang on. Let's take a quick flashback to like whatever episode of the Crossroads show was. Because for the longest time I had a plug on my show that said this isn't an episode of Crossroads if we're not talking about Cyberpunk. So here it is, everybody.
Oh boy, here we go.
Listen to Pat's words as he says this, right? Because a lot of the bad reviews were from people who were upset about how the game came out on the older consoles from the past generation and stuff like that. The game was built for PC. Not gonna make any jokes about that, but next gen systems like the Series X and the PS5 were handling it pretty well and stuff like that. So everybody got a decent experience. There was a couple of things in the game that was broken. Like, yes, there were cars that all of a sudden, were driving on the road and all of a sudden they're flying, little stuff like that. But the average person that was either playing next gen or on the PC had a very wonderful experience. So sorry for you guys who had an Xbox One or a PS4 base. Sorry, I have one of those, by the way, a base PS4. Well, my boyfriend has it now because but. Mm-hmm. I was playing Cyberpunk 2077 on a RTX 2080 Super. Yeah, and I was lucky to get 40 frames. So there you go.
Yeah, I can't speak about the frames because I honestly don't notice those things in my video game plays. But it runs smooth.
It must be nice to live in a world. It must be nice to live in a world where you don't see the frame rate. Because my God, if it drops from 60 to 45, like I see it. I see it, and it is not the best day for me.
Here's the thing: if you only play in 30 frames, you're not gonna see it. And like 60 frames is gonna like, whoa, my head hurts type thing. But if you play at 60 and it drops down to like 40 or 30, your head's gonna explode and be like, what are
you talking about? I have a 120 hertz monitor. I'm
talking about normal people, LeRon. Not Mr. Master PC guy over here. Oh, consoles suck. PC ultimate.
Oh, I'm upgrading it to a 240 hertz. So yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. So that's it. From what I understand, this is a pretty meaty DLC. Like the story should take about 15 hours, and then of course there's all the side gigs and the bonus of the whole 2.0 expansion. And then I can maybe actually finish the main game too. It might be a while. I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you're talking about the end of the game. I wonder if it changes the end of the game at all.
It does.
No, unlike if you play through the Phantom Liberty stuff.
Yeah, if you play through Phantom Liberty, it unlocks another ending path for you.
Great.
Yeah,
that's what I was most curious about. I figured it did, just based off the words the trailer uses alone. But
yeah, no. Based on your actions in the game, there is another like possibility for an ending in the main game.
Great.
Yep. I could actually beat the main game right now if I wanted to, because I am at the last mission. But there's still so much side stuff that I need to get done before I even tackle that. Because I heard a lot of the side stuff can actually affect how the ending goes. So I need to tackle all of that.
40 games milestone last, by the way.
Yeah. It'll be curious what game 40 will be. I can tell you
Make
what
it
game
special.
it's not going to be. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it,
Okay.
but I will say it is a delight. The story is fantastic. You play as Ada, and she's a lot more mobile than Leon is.
Grappling hooks.
Yep, gotta love the grappling hook. The only downside as being mobile and being a woman, she's fragile, and therefore can be killed in like 2 hits.
It's like, wait, he said being a woman, he emphasized that. I was like, where are we about to go with this?
Sexist.
Tell that to Capcom. They're the one that made her more vulnerable to attacks.
Oh, I'm aware.
Well, I mean, look at what she's wearing, okay?
Well,
Look at what she's wearing all the time.
Well, she's a spy. She's not supposed to be. She's what you expect her to be Solid Snake?
Yes.
I mean, she's more physical than Leon is too. Like one of the things
Okay, now that
you
is true.
do with the grapple hook to latch onto an enemy and like fly and kick them.
Honestly, her version in the Resident Evil movies was better than Leon in the movie.
I gotta say the creepy bug people at the beginning of the game were like super creepy.
Yeah. The bug person.
Oh, yeah.
Level.
The sound effects.
Had to give people the idea of what's going to happen when they play it.
Yeah, I've only finished 2 chapters so far, and then I went to the trails. Like I needed to focus on trails and beat that. But it's been enjoyable so far. I've snuck around a lot of the time and kind of picked off the guys that way because her knife durability is actually a hell of a lot better than Leon's was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when the game forces you to tackle enemies head on, that just makes the game a lot harder. And they like to do that with like really enclosed spaces, and it's like, why do you have to do that? Seriously, game.
There's a part in a cemetery that I had a really hard time with because there's a lot of enemies there. But they really encourage you to stealth kill. Yeah.
So, like I said, 2 chapters in, but for $9.99, that it's definitely a hell of a deal.
I can't believe it was only $10.
I know.
I feel like they could have charged $30 and gotten away with it.
You know what's funny is that this has also come from the company that just recently said games are too cheap.
Yeah, but all their games are $60.
Yeah.
So
right now,
what they're saying is they'll raise them to $70. I'm assuming.
No, I think they want to have like even $70 isn't.
Yeah, but they're not going to go above the MSRP of every other company.
I don't know. $150 for the next Resident Evil, or Monster Hunter, or Mega Man.
Capcom ain't that stupid, but we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to pull the Rockstar?
Well, no. The reason why. You know what, Corey? Talk about your games real quick, and then we're going to go to that topic.
I haven't talked about Dave the Diver.
Nobody wants to hear about Dave the Diver.
I want to hear about Dave the Diver.
Does it have cats in it?
Can we vote Stephanie off the show? Yeah, just messing with you.
Dave the Diver is awesome, guys. Just because of that, I'm going to take 20 minutes to talk about Dave the Diver now.
Okay, I'm out. Bye-bye.
I'm going to go pee then. I'm just kidding.
Wow, we really lost everyone. Okay. Now, I've only played it for like 10 minutes, so I can't really take 20 minutes to talk about it.
Get ready, everybody, because next week when we come back, Pat will be talking about a model simulator that's coming free to Epic Games tomorrow.
No, I'll probably be talking about Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai, which is getting absolutely horrible reviews right now.
You mean Infinity Strash? What a name.
60 Strath, the game based off of anime, which tells you right now it's probably not going to be good. Anyways, so Dave the Diver, it's a pixel game. You play as title character Dave. He gets a call saying, "Hey, would you like sushi?" And he's like, "Sure, I'll like sushi. I'll be right over." So he flies over to this place called the Deep Blue, and the guy's like, "Okay, first up, you're gonna have to go and catch our food." And Dave's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to get the food. It's about this giant hole that has all this like all the world's fish are like coming from this giant hole, and it's like a prime opportunity to set up a sushi bar and just sell all sorts of different sushi." So the idea behind Dave the Diver is to explore the giant hole, the the blue hole, or I forget what it's called, the deep blue, and find is like explore, try to understand what it is, and also catch fish.
Explore what's in the hole.
Explore what's in the hole and catch fish. Because then the second half of the game is you're managing a sushi restaurant. So Dave's a little disappointed that he isn't the one who's eating the sushi, but he's got to manage it as well. So once you get your catch, which you're allowed to go into the sea twice in a day, and then it becomes nighttime, and you take your catch and you put it up on the menu, and then you open up a shop and you deliver the food to people who are requesting certain foods. They may be requesting green tea as well, and there's a little pouring minigame to that. And as you run out of dishes, you have to quickly add more to the menu and just keep your customers satisfied. Eventually building up your sushi bar and making money and exploring the hole more.
Question, is the whole exploration portion like timed, or is it just you have all the time for you to explore and catch fish? And then
it's timed in the sense of you have a certain amount of oxygen.
Oh, okay.
And you have to come back before your oxygen depletes. Otherwise, you get emergency rescued, and you can only grab one of your fish that you caught on your emergency rescue up. So it's a heavy emphasis of make sure you get back to the boat on time. Otherwise, you're going to lose your entire day's haul.
Nice. I might just play it.
I say check out the demo. It's charming.
Okay.
It's a very charming demo, and I'd love to hear what your impressions are.
Great. See, guys, was it that painful?
I don't know. I wasn't here. I the bathroom.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Rude, Pat. These guys are so rude.
Stephanie, we're doing a book club on this.
Okay.
Just to spite Corey.
Sorry,
Pat and I are
don't
just
know if
going
I'll be
to
there. It sounds like a long, boring game, so I'm not going to be there.
You're a long, boring game.
I am.
Yeah.
I've been called way worse by women, so.
Short, boring game.
Are you done, Pat?
I'm done now.
Jeez. Okay. So I played a lot of games. We already kind of talked about Resident Evil 4 separate ways. I finished it. I liked it. I actually think I liked it better than the main campaign. It's really fun. The combat is very similar, but like Pat said, you're not exactly a bullet sponge here. So but still super fun. I recommend it, especially since it's only $10. I mean, come on.
What I've noticed in that the DLC, I haven't run into a single bear trap yet. Are they there? Are there bear traps in this game?
I don't think I ran into one either.
Because I feel like every step I took as Leon stepped in a bear trap.
Yeah. I don't think they're there. I don't think there are any. I don't remember running into any. Although I ran into like 7,000 of them playing as Leon. So
yeah.
So I finished that. The only thing I wish there was, and I know that you're kind of on an island and you can't really get away with this, but I wish there was some environmental changes, or not changes, but like maybe a new area to explore that doesn't look like the inside of a building or a tunnel or a open death space. But yeah, so I played that. I played Townscaper. It's basically one of those Game Pass games for an easy 1,000 achievement points. I did it in 15 minutes. So that was cool. I started Alan Wake Remastered. I'm not very far. I've played like maybe a half hour, maybe 20 minutes. I just got to the cabin after the restaurant scene.
Did you put the lime in the coconut?
No.
Son of a bitch.
Is that a thing?
Playing it wrong.
Oh well. It feels like an Uncharted or Last of Us, and not in a good way. Like for the PS3 versions, it's kind of like the combat is not great, but everybody says the story is great, so I'm going to continue. And also, I'm playing this before we do Alan Wake 2 for book club. So, it said the game is only about 12 hours, so I should be able to do that in the next month or so. And then the last two games I'm going to talk about together, Oxenfree and Oxenfree 2. I'm not really going to spoil Oxenfree 2. I mean, I'm going to say some things remotely about the story. I really liked Oxenfree 1. I like the characters. I really like Alex. I took Jonas with me everywhere, just because that, for some reason, that felt like the right move, especially because like Ren really liked Nona, and I tried to keep them together, and then I didn't want to take Clarissa because she's a bitch. So Stephanie, you're muted, by the way.
I just shouted, "She's horrible."
Yeah, she's terrible. So I took Jonas everywhere, especially because like they're newly like step siblings, I guess would be the word I'm looking for. And the conversations with him were very interesting. I really liked the story, and I really liked the ending, because it was just really like one of those Inception type of ending. And then the second game actually ruins the ending of the first game, for me at least, because it kind of changes the way you feel about the first game, especially if you play them back to back. I didn't really care for Riley and Jacob as characters in that game. They just, I don't know. Riley just seemed like really depressed and angry about life in a lot of the conversations. And I tried to pick the ones that sounded the most upbeat or positive, right? And it's just like, sure. I'm like, God, come on.
Yeah. The voice acting's great, but like I was like, dang, like I know you got issues, like we all do, but lighten up, girl. And, oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and I like, as soon as they introduced the character Rex, I knew instantly like what was happening, especially after she says something within the story. Like I knew exactly who the Rex character was, and like, because it's playing with time. So it was good. It's definitely not as good as the first game, and I don't like how they utilize the characters from the first game, really. There was one point where like I did kind of appreciate part of it, and like the ending is really nice, but like I kind of feel like Oxenfree 2 really ruins the first game in a lot of ways. And I kind of wish I would have taken Stephanie's advice and just played the second one. I almost think you should play 2 first and then play 1 in some sort of way, because then like you kind of meet the main character of the first game, and then you go back and kind of play it from her perspective, and then that kind of changes the story in that way. So I liked it. Oxenfree is actually like a really great game, although the one complaint I have is like you're really slow.
Yeah, there's
Really?
no running feature.
Yeah, really, really slow. So that's what I've been playing. And then I also now I'm going to be playing Alan Wake Remastered and Spider-Man Remastered, because those are the next 2 book clubs we're doing of the sequels. So, fingers crossed, maybe I'll play them. LeRon, you're muted too.
Oh, wow. I don't even know when that happened. That was an accident. I'm like, I just realized, wait, I'm on the Spider-Man book club, aren't I?
I don't know. Are you?
I think I am.
Oh. Did we invite him, guys? I don't remember inviting LeRon.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then I'm not in the book club. Good.
I'm just kidding. LeRon, you're invited.
I was going to say, especially for Spider-Man too, right? Because that's something that you have your eye on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm planning on playing.
We plan on doing Spider-Man 2 though in December, so you got to have it beat by then, LeRon.
He's ignoring you.
Yes,
No, I heard. I heard.
Yeah, so he is ignoring.
Like you're gonna make me beat a game in like a month.
I'm planning on playing Miles Morales also. I'm just gonna mainline the games. I don't have time to be looking for back.
That's also what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't have time to.
No, I'm crawling all over the city because I got them. I got the Spider-Man remastered, so it came with all the DLC and everything. So I'm playing all that.
Yeah, I'll play through the DLC too because, what else here? Nope, that's it. That's all I'm playing. All right. Do we want to answer questions first or get to the topic first?
I say
Let's answer questions.
Okay. Oh boy. Our first question comes from our friend Eddie V.
What?
Hi, Ed.
He asks, are we in an era when Japanese and US developed games are coexisting in a positive light? During that 360 and PS3 era, they seemed to be separated for better or worse. Do you think the Switch helped restore this coexistence?
Now, why do we bring the Switch up into this?
Have you met Ed? No further questions, LeRon.
When it means coexistence, are we just saying like popularity of Eastern and Western?
Probably,
games?
yeah. Because like, if you guys remember, during the 360 and PS3 era, Japanese games were like really not
Niche.
hitting the way they used to.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, Resident Evil tried to become more Western with 5 and 6, right? I mean, kind of started with 4, but 5 and 6 definitely. And I mean, the nickname for Capcom was Crapcom because all the games they put out were bad until probably Street Fighter 4, I would say.
I don't know. I particularly enjoyed Mega Man.
People loved Street Fighter 4 when it came out.
I did not. Now and this is the guy that played all the Street Fighter games.
Well, look at you, LeRon. Why don't you just be an elitist about fighting games too? PC, fighting games. What else, LeRon? Monster Hunter?
Honestly, my Tekken and my Monster Hunter experience got better once I played them on PC.
And so like,
but we're not here to talk about that.
No, I would actually say. Oh, sorry, Stephanie. Go.
No, you.
I was going to say, I think the rise of popularity in Western games, at least in my view, came when the Xbox was released because you had Halo and Halo 2 were super popular with online stuff. Like multiplayer became super popular and Rainbow Six 3 became super popular. And then like when you get to PS3 and Xbox 360, you got games like Gears that were really popular. And obviously like Western RPGs became popular. I see you, LeRon. I'm debating on whether or not I should let you talk. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't know. It might be a hot take for some, but I kind of believe that my feelings kind of translates to like a certain part of the gaming community. When we got to the Xbox era, and I'm gonna call it the Xbox era because we know the PS2 was like chugging, right? When we got to the Xbox era, a lot of people realized that they had outgrown like certain types of games. You hear me say time in, time out sometimes that I outgrew Nintendo at a certain phase. Yeah, I'm back in Nintendo's ecosphere, but for a while, like Nintendo was lucky if I even looked at buying a console from them. And when we look at this like Japanese versus US development, and I'm just gonna say Eastern developed versus Western developed games and stuff like that. Yeah, like things were changing. Like a lot of people were tired of the quirkiness, of like JRPGs. They were tired of the lengths, because like with the exception of Elder Scrolls, of course, people were tired of playing like RPGs that they had to sink like 1,000 hours into the beat properly and stuff like that. Things of that nature. People were tired of like kind of like the weird chunky mechanics that some games had, whether it was an RPG game, whether it was an action platformer type game, whether it was just a simple puzzle game, stuff like that. People were kind of tired of that, And the Xbox era came in at this time where people didn't realize they were tired of one thing until like we started seeing like like Jade Empire, KOTOR, right? KOTOR is an Xbox gamer. Yeah, stuff like that. People did not realize that Halo was revolutionary, and this is considering that we had Counter-Strike before Halo ever came out and stuff like that, but it was a different experience. It was also a different way that gamers are able to play console games and stuff like that, Now the only problem is that, it did start to divide because like all the Western developers were making games like that, and Japan was kind of like staying in his own little corner, its own lane or whatnot. So the disparities just started showing up right there and stuff like that. GameCube comes out. GameCube looked like Nintendo actually matured some because like we're seeing more M-rated games on their platform all of a sudden, stuff like that. Yeah, we're still getting our Pikmins, we're still getting our Super Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, which I love Mario Sunshine, but whatever. But yeah. And also GameCube had the fortune of inheriting a lot of Dreamcast like holdovers, because the Dreamcast died like in the first 2 years of its.
It was out for 18 months before they pulled the plug.
Exactly. And the GameCube had been around for like a hot minute and stuff like that. So, So when we look at this, are we in an era where Japanese US developed games are coexisting in a more positive light? I think it's because like overall, like the trajectory of gaming has shifted. Like Japan is starting to come out of its shell, as far as like what they're willing to do with their games and stuff like that. I mean, shit, wasn't it last year we were talking like Sega didn't want Judgment to come to PC because they were thinking modders are going to like make sex mods for the main character who's an actor, who's a real credible actor in Japan.
Spoilers, that probably would have happened without a PC port anyway. It just would have taken a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. Because the scope of gaming has changed. As when technology gets more powerful, whether it's consoles, whether it's cell phones, whether it's PC and stuff like that, things are gonna look different. Gamers are gonna scope the games to how they want their experiences and stuff like that. And things like that. So I'm kind of glad that Japan and the US have stepped up their games. Japan and the West have stepped up their game as far as how they develop games and stuff like that. Like we're getting past like the parts where like a lot of this stuff feels like shovelware, And I think that's something that we can appreciate. Now, do I think the Switch helped restore this coexistence? No, because the reason why I say this is because a major part of the Nintendo's strategy with the Switch is they re-released all the Wii U games. I think we only have like Corey. Like I think we only have like 2 or 3 that have not made it yet.
I think there are definitely under 5 Wii U exclusives that haven't made it over, and that's because like 2 of them require 2 screens, and the other 2 are Zelda games. And then I would argue that the other ones that didn't come over, we got sequels to almost right away. Like Yoshi's Woolly World got Yoshi's Crafted World, right, and Kirby obviously is Kirby, and there's all kinds of Kirby trash everywhere. So
yeah, but and that's just one facet of it. Like this, if anything, the Switch helped revamp like Nintendo's appeal following the Wii U, because the Wii U basically was, if they didn't have 3DS, like the Wii U was going to bury Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean the Wii U. See, the thing is, those like. The Wii U had so many great games.
Right. Yeah, the Wii U sold.
It didn't sell great at all.
Well,
just over 13.
I was being nice, Corey. I was being nice.
I don't always do. The console sold like trash.
Okay,
like
Corey Dirrig said it. Note the date and time. Corey Dirrig said that. LeRon Dawkins did not.
I mean, I'm just saying it how it is. I love the Wii U. It's like one of my favorite Nintendo consoles of all time, but.
Yeah, skewed our top Nintendo consoles ranking. Gosh,
sorry.
Yeah, but Nintendo has just, in my opinion, just now started taking risks. Stuff like that. They've just now started taking risks, and they're taking risks now. Like the Switch is close to 6 years old, and it is 5 years old. So they're just now taking risks, in my opinion, over the last 2.5 years of his life cycle and stuff like that. And good for them, because like the more and more stuff they do now, I've noticed like the NSO has like lost momentum. Like I'm not sure. This is where I think they were already trying to work on developing the new console. Yeah, we're talking about Switch 2 all of a sudden now. This is where I think they're already thinking about the Switch, because like the Switch 2, because like their roadmap is at an end for like all the retro game releases right now. Are we going to see a new roadmap, going into next year? We don't know. It's kind of scary because the one thing that the masses were clamoring for with this current hardware for the Switch is like more retro titles. And yeah, we got some nice ones like Stephanie was like beating me about the head. Nobody wants Game Boy games on the Switch, and those games came out and they were like the most downloaded games ever. And I was like, oh wow, shut me the fuck up.
I would argue that a lot of Nintendo's first party stuff is already there, because they don't release up until the Switch, they don't release a lot of first party stuff, right? And with third party stuff, it's about licensing. A lot of them are in collections already. Like Mega Man would have been the perfect games for that, but like they sell the collections, right? Or Konami released the Castlevania collections, right? So like getting third party games on those platforms are hard. I'm shocked they put Sega Genesis on there, to be honest, because they have Sega collection, Sonic collection, Sonic remakes, and all that kind of garbage, right? Like,
yeah.
And even if you go into the Sega Genesis one, like it's the games that you expect, but there's only one Sonic game on there, maybe two, right? I mean, Sonic 2 is definitely on there, and Sonic Spinball, I think, is on there. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I think I appreciate the effort with the Genesis, but I wish there would be more interesting games on there. There's
a whole lot of the Game Boy Advance library that they could still bring over.
Yeah,
for Nintendo. Like we need Metroid Zero Mission. We could do the Golden Suns.
No, Golden Sun is coming.
They announced some
Golden Sun's at the end. Golden Sun is at the end of this roadmap.
Yeah, didn't they already announce Zero Mission 2, or did they was it just Fusion?
I don't think I've seen anything about Zero Mission, because like I would been doing backflips on this podcast show whenever that happens. Like you saw how I ran like quick, fast, in a hurry to get Prime remastered. Like wait, it just came out 20 minutes ago. Which I immediately spent $40 on that. Did I have to spend $40? No, did not.
The funny thing is, people are begging for GameCube games, and the thing is GameCube is the perfect console to remaster, because it's in that era where like those games still look good, right? On the GameCube, but like if you just put a little effort in updating them, they'll sell. I mean, look, we've gotten Paper Mario, Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime, Bat and Kados 1 and 2, Pikmin 1 and 2. There's a lot of GameCube games on this on the Switch that have been remastered, quote unquote. And I don't know, I feel like that's the route they're going with GameCube. You put them out for $30 or $40 HD remastered. I mean, Metroid Prime remastered looks like a brand new Switch game, right? That game looks really
Hurry
good.
the hell up from Prime 2 and 3.
I know.
Hurry up.
I'm shocked they didn't announce those at the last direct.
And where's our? I know you guys are cooking something for Samus Returns. I know you guys are. You got to be, huh?
Samus Returns.
No, I mean they're gonna do something to port the 3DS game.
They're already porting 3DS games.
Exactly. And I just recently replayed a little bit of Samus Returns on my ROG Ally, the emulation machine, and stuff like that. You don't need a second screen for that game. You don't.
Yeah, I mean they kind of stopped doing that probably halfway through the 3DS's lifestyle or whatever life
cycle.
Yeah, whatever. I said lifestyle. Like a lot of that is just map and inventory management, which you just press select and it'll bring up the screen, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
But to go ahead and finish out this answering this question here. I don't think they're coexisting in so much positive light. Like everybody just shares the same space now. I think that's the best way to answer this question. Everyone shares the same space. Like we have like 1, 2, 3. We have literally 4 generations of gamers that are playing games right now. You've got me the Gen Xers. We got millennials. We got their kids, and we got brand new people like shit. Like the Wii brought in like boomers into the gaming sphere and stuff like that. So now there's practically something out there for everyone and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's diverse, which is great. Things get more diversified, which means you get more people interested in gaming, stuff like that. Everything from mobile gaming to freaking console gaming to PC gaming to VR gaming, to what else? To all these handhelds and all these chip things. People were building Raspberry Pis just to play more video games and stuff like that. Raspberry Pi devices just to play more video games. So yeah, I think it's just coexisting now. I think, and that's the good thing,
Yeah. To bring a point on this question, I would actually argue Nintendo didn't do anything to bring Japanese games to fruition, because Nintendo's always played by their own drum, and it's like Nintendo brought themselves back into the mainstream fold, right? But like, I don't think they've done anything special to like really make Japanese games more popular.
I agree.
I think with Nintendo, and maybe this is why Eddie thinks that Nintendo brought Japanese games back. Nintendo and Japanese games have always been a hit with the handheld systems. The 3DS, the DS, the Game Boy Advance, plenty of Japanese games on that. But the Japanese gamer, they like the portable stuff.
And I
think the Switch, maybe the reason why there feels more Japanese on the Switch is because the Switch is the hybrid portable console system.
I'm gonna say this: if the Switch if Nintendo didn't sell well outside of Japan, Nintendo would still be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say that if we live in this hypothetical world where let's just put, you remember back in the day, like certain games and certain consoles just never came to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
If Nintendo was one of those, they would still be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's still games that Japan gets that we don't, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Ain't nobody got money to be localizing every goddamn thing for us gaijin out here in the United States and Canada.
All right, we're going to move on to our second question here. It's from the One True James via Discord. How do you feel about Capcom's suggested price changes? I think that Capcom still sells their games at $60 and they want to move to $70 like everybody else at first. And I actually think next gen they're going to move to $80. In my opinion.
You think the industry is going to shift to $80?
Mm-hmm. Unless it's a cross gen title, right? Like, remember at the beginning of this generation, Xbox was still selling their games at $60 because they could still be played on Xbox One.
Yeah.
And like Redfall, I think, was the first $70 title that they put out.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something like that. Like, Xbox is obviously still going to be like, oh, you can probably play the first year of games we put out on the Series X natively.
You think? So let me ask you this then, because like my hot take on this was it's going to happen across the board no matter what. Mm-hmm. Nintendo did it just recently, and people always feel like Nintendo is a safe space when it comes to gamers. With newsflash, they are not.
Well, Nintendo said they're going to do it on a game to game basis.
By game basis.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean,
no, I'm sorry.
Well,
see,
here's
that's nice that they say that, but the fact that they started doing it means there's now a precedent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Zelda will always be $70. Like, in the next 3D Zelda will always be $70. The next 3D Mario will be $70. Any like tentpole, AAA game from Nintendo, right? But like Mario Wonder is $60. Mario RPG is $50. The Peach and Luigi's Mansion game. Luigi's Mansion is probably going to be $40 or $50. Peach will be 50 or 60. Like, they're still they're in that exploratory phase, right? Where they're like kind of exploring the price line.
This is the company never drops the prices of their games. Like, the games could be fucking 12 years old and it's still $60
or more if they're on a different console.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, the idea of Nintendo would have this tiered approach, and then you sit around there thinking, well, why is this game $40? Like, what's bad about it? That's exactly what's going to happen. Like, you're going to look at these $70 games like Tears of the Kingdom, and then you like, if that Princess Peach game comes out at the $50 tier, for example, everybody's going to like, what's wrong with this game?
Yeah, I think
Captain Toad came out at $40, and that was a budget. That was a budget buy. It turned out to be a really good game. Like, I'm actually I played the
come
demo,
out as 40 on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a 40 game because it was a port.
Yeah. Well, the Wii U,
Why
it
weren't there other ports like $40?
was $39.99 on the Wii U also.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, why weren't there other ports $40 as they should have been?
Because Mario will sell at $60 and Donkey Kong will sell at $60 and Zelda will.
Yeah,
I mean,
know,
Metroid Prime Remastered was $40. Pikmin 1 is $30. You know,
Metroid Prime Remaster was a $50 game when it was brand new on GameCube, right?
Metroid Prime was $50. That whole generation was $50.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird, and you guys know I kind of hold Nintendo at a different standard than I do Microsoft and PlayStation. Because I feel like Nintendo knows, and the fans like enable this. Nintendo knows they can get away with a lot of this stuff. You know, like
they set a precedent.
If they're coming out with a tiered, like lineup, like I'm that pragmatic gamer. Is like, what's wrong with this game? You know, like Princess Peach. Like this is a person that exists in the Super Mario canon. Why is her game cheaper than everybody else's game?
Because Peach isn't the main character, right? I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Not my decision.
Super Princess Peach was a full price game when it came out on 3DS.
That's the one where she fought with her emotions, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That game was great. I loved it.
It was great. Like,
it was fun.
I was a little pissed when I saw trailers. Like, man, crying is her attack mechanism. Like, what?
Then she goes.
I played it and I was like, oh, this game is awesome. But I'm just saying, like, you know,
I mean, I agree with you. I'm not.
Yeah, it's wild that you're thinking games will go up to $80 in the next console generation. It's a possibility because like they're going. Well, I think
you know.
I think what. Oh, go ahead, Corey. Then go
what Atlas did with the Nintendo 3DS, like. Nintendo was doing games at $35 for the 3DS, but Atlas was like shooting them at $50.
Yeah, like, I remember that.
The Persona games were super. I mean, I think people that were into Persona, Persona Q 1 and 2, like those were $50, and I think people who were into Persona when it wasn't as big flocked to those games.
It wasn't even Persona; even the Etrian Odysseys were coming out at like $50.
Mm-hmm. I remember the sixth one was $50, maybe 5 and 6.
But I could, if Capcom really wanted to, like if they put the effort into the game, they could have a $70, even an $80 game if they wanted to on the Switch. And you know, if it's a Monster Hunter, I could see people doing $80 to pay. You know, for that game.
Once somebody takes the dive, everybody's going to do it, right? So
yeah, true. If that's the general price for games across the board, then yeah, like that's what's going to happen. But I feel like right now, like a lot of companies are tiptoeing towards a $70 line. So you know, I feel like $70 is going to be the norm. But by the time the console refreshes come out, everything will be $70.
Yeah.
Now the step backwards was Mortal Kombat, obviously. I think
Mortal Kombat came out at $70 on the Switch.
Yeah,
and it was a subpar game.
Yeah, it was $70 on the Switch.
$70,
$70 on the Switch, and the graphical comparison between the two systems, you know, was night and day. I think that is what would keep companies right now from jumping over there. Is that people are like, no, this is garbage. Like, we're not even remotely going to buy it on this system because it's so much better at the same price on a PlayStation.
This is where I tell gamers like pick and choose your battles. Like go to war with the pocketbook. You know, take these companies to task with shit. As much as I dislike GameStop, buy that shit pre-owned. Like don't give the game advisor that worked behind the counter like the money. You know.
Mm-hmm. I also want to say that the two things actually. One, if you don't want to pay $70, like LeRon said, like buy it used, or I don't know, wait a year, go to Black Friday sales, and it'll be like half price at least.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like the second thing I want to mention is when games go to $80, that price per hour argument is going to happen even more than it does now, right? Like,
True.
you know, when you get a game like The Witcher that's like 200 hours long at least, and those expansion passes, right? I mean, that game, you could have sold that game for $120 with how much content is in that game. And then like, so let's say the next Witcher is like $70 or $80, like, and then you're going to compare it to the next Uncharted, which is $80, right? Like, I mean, Uncharted, what the next Uncharted is not going to be any longer than probably 20 hours, right? 25 at the most, unless you're like a completionist, whatever.
Hey, listen. Don't come at me about my man math when it comes to how I justify how I'm going to spend money on a game.
I mean,
Do not do that.
I'm not like, I think Uncharted is totally worth the $70 or the price tag, right? Like when it, well, I guess 60 at the time, but 70, like the next one, like Uncharted's amazing. I would pay that for those types of games, but you know, people are like, and again, I don't want to get in this conversation because we kind of had it like a couple months ago, but free to play has also made the argument of like,
Yeah,
$70 for a game when I can get thousands of hours in Fortnite for free, technically, right?
that's exactly that's where I was going to next. Like I was gonna say, like, you know, like it would be something to think about because games as a service are coming, and you know, like games as a service, like, you know, like they don't always charge you like the premium price for it. They charge you like an introductory price, sometimes $30-$40, and then all the microtransactions and all the expanded content and stuff. That's how they make their money, you know. So like this is an interesting topic that I feel like we should come back to in like a year or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially like when the console refreshes come out, because that's happening, right? So definitely.
Yeah, you notice how everybody's losing their mind because the Xbox Series S probably won't have a disc drive.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait. The end of physical games. Can't wait. To be fair, though, that's going to have a detachable disc drive via USB-C.
That sounds annoying.
That's gonna be right? Because I have to use a detachable. I have to use a USB-C drive for my job. You know, because
but if they're
computers
gonna,
don't come with built-in disc drives anymore.
If they're going to phase out the 1 terabyte one, they have to have an option for. They have to have an option for people who want discs, and I know that's annoying.
They probably have the plug-in expansion slots for those terabyte freaking memory cards.
Yeah. There's a 2 terabyte.
I call them memory cards. I'm being facetious. I call them memory cards.
I really want a 2 terabyte one. I'm going to get one, but they're half of the console. So and wait, we don't know a lot about the new Series S. We don't know if it's going to be like on the chipset, like how the PS5 is. Well, since though that data released in 2021 or early 2022 or whatever, I'm wondering if the Black Series S is that. And they didn't want to pay for the components because supply chains were still, you know, they wanted to get as much of those components for the Series X as possible, the refresh one. So I'm wondering if the 1 terabyte black one is that refresh. So
it's a good possibility, but yeah, like it's interesting times. Thank you, Microsoft, for leaking your own information. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, dude, I'm so excited for that. And the controller with quieter thumbsticks. Oh my gosh, dude. Somebody mentioned that thumbsticks were really loud like 2 years ago, and it's bothered me ever since. I'm like, these sticks are so
quieter thumbsticks. Yeah, quieter thumbsticks and like less possibility for drift.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me when I'm playing a game and like, you know, either I have headphones on or I have the TV turned up, but like when my kids and my wife are sleeping and I'm trying to play a game and those sticks are like super loud, even though we're on opposite ends of the house, I'm like, yikes. Hope not. So, well, we did it.
We survived another episode.
Mm-hmm.
I almost didn't, but it's okay.
Have you been not sleeping again?
I've been playing games. I've been so like yesterday, my wife and I were watching TV, and as soon as she went to bed, I started playing Oxenfree 2, and I'm like, I got to finish this tonight. And I had no recollection of what time it was, even though there's a clock right by the TV, like, you know, on the other wall right by the TV. And I finished it. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go to bed early, and I finish this game. And I look at the clock, and it's like almost 1:30. I'm like, oh, probably should go to bed. So, Yeah, I just that's my that's my quarterly goal is to play more games in this last quarter of the year.
I appreciate that goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be hard, but I can do it.
You can do it, Corey.
I can.
We
Also,
believe in you.
I also downloaded Final Fantasy VII Remake too.
Nice.
So I got
that's another game I'm currently playing, but I just haven't been adding it to my list.
Yeah, I wanna play it just to see. I also should probably play the original just because I want to know what the changes are.
No.
Well, they have that speed mode where you don't have to like grind or get experience.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's a new thing. Like,
So-
yeah, like I refuse to go back to the original Final Fantasy VII. I refuse.
I mean, I
Like,
kind of
I played it so much when it was new,
Yeah.
when it was a current game. That
Mhm.
I can't.
yeah. I just since the remake and we talking about doing it for book club at some point. Like, I want.
Whoa, that's a lofty game.
The first one, the remake.
Yeah,
It's like 25 hours. You can mainline it in like 25 hours.
yeah.
We can
Would
do
you
it though. We
Would you
fit Final Fantasy 16 in one.
Yeah.
We packed the shit out of that, and
Yeah.
we also had to quiet Black a little bit. Sorry, Black.
What else? Oh yeah, okay. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna get on another tangent, and that's not a good thing this far into the show. So, yeah. So before we go, I want to say thank you to everybody who's listening and or watching. If you're a patron, we also appreciate you. You can go to patreon.com/BossRushMedia to check out the tiers. We are going to make some changes that we are going to announce probably the next episode because we got to, make the doc and fix everything and streamline it and stuff. But I think it's going to be a good thing that we can keep consistent going forward. And, it's going to be a good time. LeRon, Stephanie, Pat, thank you for your time tonight, as always.
real fast.
No.
Real fast.
Oh,
What do you want?
I just want to let everyone know that coming up on episode 80 of Boss Rush After Dark, we're going to be talking about our favorite bedtime activities. Stay tuned for that one. And then Corey and Stephanie will be in the hot seat as they talk about parenting in this current game.
Is that a good idea?
All that and maybe more on episode 80 of Boss Rush After Dark.
Dun dun dun.
Big announcement, though. Speaking of After Dark, it's coming back every week.
Yes, we're giving the people what they want. More holes.
Yes.
Bigger and better.
Yeah.
bigger, longer,
And uncut.
better,
Harder,
stronger, faster.
uncut. I don't know. Some of them might be cut.
full frontal.
I'm just thinking of
veiny.
the South Park movie. Remember, bigger, longer, and uncut.
And I'm thinking of circumcision.
Okay, on that note, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening.
Good
And
night,
until
everybody.
next time,
Ah.
we love you. Goodbye. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushMedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.